What is going on today, guys? So today I'm going to be doing a video on the best possible settings to get you the best possible FPS and the best visibility within the finals after the 1.5 update. So let's get right into it. We're gonna go into settings and we're starting the gameplay tab. So first off, make sure that your use enemy team colors is on, because if this is off, then all the enemy teams will just be one color. I believe they will just all display red, and then you won't know which team is which. So make sure this is on. This is super important. And then hide player names, I have off. Make sure your preferred region is obviously whatever region you're in. So I'm in North America, so mine is set to North America. But if you are within a different region, then make sure it is set to that region. Crossplay, this is really up to you. You can have this on, you can have this off. It's really all up to you and personal preference. Moving on to my crosshairs, this is my crosshair settings. I have the width on 1, the outline width on 2, red at 255, green at 255, blue at 255, red outline 0, green outline 0, blue outline 0, center dot on, center dot radius 2, and then the opacity at 100. Moving on, I don't play on controller at all. I play on keyboard and mouse, so I'm not going to be doing controller settings at all because I don't play on controller, so I don't know the best controller settings. The only tip I can give you for controller settings is my buddy plays on controller, and he said to turn the preset from equipment wheel to directional equipping. If you are a controller player and you do play on controller, then this might benefit you to setting this preset to directional equipping. However, that's something that I am not sure of because, again, I don't play on controller. This is just coming from my friend who plays on controller and says that this works well for him. Other than that, I don't have any other tips for controller. So if you are a controller player, then unfortunately, you're gonna have to find another video on someone who actually does play controller. Moving on to mouse and keyboard, I play, well, to start off, I should say that I play at 2400 DPI. So most people, if you don't know your DPI, most people typically play on either 400 or 800 DPI, but I personally like a lot higher of a DPI. So that's why I play on 2400. That also means that I have my sensitivity a little bit lower. So my mouse look sensitivity is at 14. This is just what works the best for me. I'm having my sensitivity on 14 and my DPI at 2400, but really sensitivity is up to you. My sensitivity and my DPI might not work for you. You might like to play at a lower DPI, higher sense, or lower DPI, lower sense, or, you know, whatever the case might be. Your sensitivity preference might be a lot different from mine, but this is at least what I run. As for my zoom sense multiplier, I have it on 94. For my scoped zoom sensitivity multiplier, this just got added to the game within the new 1.5 update. So I believe this is for the sniper only, and I haven't messed around with the sniper. So as of right now, I just have it set to 94 to match my mouse zoom sensitivity multiplier, but I might change this depending on how it feels when using a sniper, but I don't really use the sniper rifle at all. I've only used it a handful of times, and I don't really plan on using it that much. So I probably won't mess around with this at all, really. And if I do, it really won't be immediately. It'll probably be just some random day when I feel like using the sniper rifle. But for now, it's gonna be set at 94. Moving on, my mouse focal length sensitivity scaling is off. Make sure this is off. You do not want this on. This will mess up your mouse sensitivity and won't make it accurate to what you want it. So make sure this is off. For mouse invert vertical look input, I have this off. Also turn this off. You do not want this on at all. For keybinds, it's really personal preference. You know, it's whatever you want your keybinds to be. It's going to be different for everyone. But for me personally, these are my keybinds. I'm not going to go over every single one of them. I'm just going to scroll through it. And if you want to copy my keybinds, then you can go right ahead. But really, I think keybinds are something that's personal preference, and it's kind of up to you. So that's all my binds. Moving on to accessibility, I have my colorblind mode on default. Some people like to change this up. Personally, I just like to keep it on default. I have my subtitles on, but I like to keep the subtitle text size on small and the subtitle background opacity on 0, just so they don't get too distracting, but at least they're there if I need to see them. I have my motion blur disabled. This is super important. Make sure that your motion blur is disabled. Super important. And then we see the crosshair again, which I already showed you my crosshairs, so I'm not going to go over that again. Moving on to audio, I personally have my audio, well, at least my master volume, set to 35. That's just what's best for me. Sounds the best to me, and that's just what works the best for me. But again, it might be different for you. My music volume, I like to have a little bit of music, but I don't like it too loud, so I just keep it on 5. For the SFX volume, I recommend keeping this on 100. This is going to be the volume for any sort of important sound happening around you, like gunfire, footsteps, explosions, people running, like anything that you would want to hear, any sort of directional sound that maybe is an audio cue that an enemy is going to be next to you. This is what is gonna allow you to hear them. So I recommend keeping this on 100 so you could hear every little thing that is important to hear. As for dialogue volume, I like to keep this on 55. I honestly might even turn this down a little bit. 50 might even be a little bit better, because sometimes the dialogue could be a little too loud with the announcers. You know, while I do like to hear the announcers and hear what they're saying, I just don't want it to be too loud and be too overwhelming, and I don't want it to be louder than my SFX volume, because this is the most important volume. Moving on to output mode, I have it on stereo/headphones. This is what I recommend it should be on if you're using headphones, which you should be using headphones on this game. Night mode, I have it off. And then we have subtitles, which I already went over. And then voice chat, I do have my voice chat on, but I have it set to friends only. Just because I don't really have a need to hear any of the randoms within my lobby. I really only want to be hearing people within the Discord, and or if I maybe have a friend who can only talk through voice chat, then I could at least hear them. I do have my mode set to push to talk, because again, I don't want an open mic. I don't want everyone to hear what I'm saying. I only want them to hear me when I allow it to be heard. Then obviously I have my microphone set up, which is just my Blue Yeti, and then my voice chat output device. Actually, this is the wrong thing. It's supposed to be on speakers, which is my so my headphones are directly plugged in to my Blue Yeti, which is my microphone. So the speakers are also Yeti as well. That was actually on the wrong thing, so I set that to what it's supposed to be on. And then my voice chat volume, I keep that very low. When I do hear people in voice chat, it is extremely loud, so I keep it on only 5. Moving on to video, we're starting getting into the more important settings. Window mode, keep it on full screen. This is so important. You're going to get the best possible FPS by keeping it on full screen. Don't have it on windowed, don't have it on windowed full screen, have it on full screen. This will give you the best possible FPS in the game. For resolution, I like to keep mine on 1920 by 1080. This is just personal preference. You can change it to whatever you want to, but I recommend keeping it to 1920 by 1080 unless you like to play stretched, then you can change it. For VSync, I have it disabled. This is another setting that I recommend to stay off. I would not have VSync on because you want to be able to, again, have the most amount of frames possible. But if you have a 60 hertz monitor, then you're going to be capped to 60 FPS. If you have a 144 hertz monitor, then you're going to be capped to 144 hertz. But you don't want that. You want the most amount of frames possible. So I would disable this. NVIDIA Reflex Low Latency, I have this on. I would 100% turn this on. This will just help out with performance. For frame rate limit, keep this on unlimited. Again, you want the most amount of frames possible. So keep this on unlimited. For resolution scaling method, I have it on TAAU. and then have the resolution scale at 100. This is personally what I think is the best resolution scaling method out of all of them that's available. I think that it gives you the best possible visibility and allows you to see everything a little bit more clear. For field of view, this really comes down to personal preference, but personally, I would recommend having it on 100 to see every little thing that's happening on your screen. But again, it's really just personal preference. You can put it to whatever you want to. For motion blur, as I said, keep that disabled. For lens distortion, keep this disabled. Super important, keep this disabled. This will mess with your visibility if you have it on, so keep it disabled. If you do have a ray tracing option, then I would keep it on static for NVIDIA RTX global illumination. Keep it on static, because if it's any higher than this, then it'll drastically affect your FPS. So keep this on static. It will help out dramatically in your performance if you keep it on static. Moving on to quality, which is probably the most important thing here to give you the best amount of frames possible, to give you the best FPS. I have this on custom because everything here is low except for one thing, which is texture. So view distance, low, anti-aliasing, low, shadows, low, post-processing, low, effects, low, foliage, low. But this texture, this is on medium. Now, if you have a lower end PC, then I would honestly just keep this on low as well. But if you have a little bit higher end of a PC and you have better parts that you know can run at higher settings, like per se, you could run at ultra if you wanted to without any sort of problems, then I would actually bump up your texture from low to medium. Personally, I think this helps with visibility and allows me to see things a little bit more clear, and it really isn't costing me that much FPS. It's really not doing too much damage in the FPS department. It's not like a super big impact. I really don't see a huge impact at all. So if you do have a higher end PC, then I would put texture on medium, but then have everything else on low. As for extras, this is really, there's nothing here to adjust. So there's no need to worry about this. There's nothing here that you would have to do or adjust at all. And yeah, I think that is everything. So that is the best possible settings in the finals to give you the best possible FPS and the best possible visibility within the game after the 1.5 update. So yeah, that's going to be it for me, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did enjoy the video, then please give the video a like. And if you guys want more content like this, then please subscribe to the channel. But yeah, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and bye guys. Have a good one.